Okay? Because God, well, is God. So the Catholic Church even recognizes this. Okay, St. Paul in the New Testament, again, and the Church throughout, you can pick up the Catechism, and it will say along those lines that God is far above our categories to put him in a box. That said and done, what can we distinguish or disagree with Mr. Sullivan? Well, a lot, but let's go systematically. Number one, the first question, since the September 11th attacks, particularly in America, but I'm sure, you've also got the Bali attacks, right? And Australia is also dealing with these issues. They immediately go to, if you will, religion, violence. Religion causes violence. And we have to, we've already acknowledged sometimes that's true. There's no doubt that, the terrorists were religiously motivated. Maybe there were other motivations. Okay? But does religion have a monopoly on violence? As a matter of fact, if you were to go through kind of the hot spots in the world, or some of the examples that our friends qualify as religious battles, let's go back, I mentioned Northern Ireland. It's not really about religion. It's about political rights. Okay? It's about social political. Even in Yugoslavia, although it was definitely among religious lines, it was also among ethnic groups, which also had different religions. It wasn't principally about religious distinctions, but ethnic battles, ethnic cleansing, ethnic genocide. Okay? It wasn't religiously motivated principally. Okay? So a lot of conflicts that are quickly deemed as religious conflicts, at its heart, it's not even about religion. Response number two is those who propose to be non-religious, your atheists or agnostics, have a horrible record as far as the 20th century goes, as far as violence. As a matter of fact, Stalin alone is responsible for approximately 50 million deaths. Hitler, 6 million Jews. I'm not sure how many others because of the war. Pol Pot, the Chinese communist regime. You're talking in the hundreds of millions when you add them all up. Okay? The Inquisition, estimates now of current scholars say maybe 5,000. Good, which is still too many. But nevertheless, these are in the name of progress, man emancipated from religious oppression. Okay? It doesn't wash. So if God is, second point, is God so transcendent that he cannot be known? Okay. Well, can we know that God exists? What do you say? How? Through reason. Okay. There are two principal ways through reason that you can know that God exists. What are they? The two reasons the Catechism lists are basically, where does it all come from? Okay, the order and the origin and the causality. Nothing can come from nothing. And secondly, man's moral experience. Okay? That fact that you realize you're longing for eternity, your insatisfaction with material experiences. Okay? Those are the two arguments. That would merit its own talk in and of itself. Okay? But the Church has consistently taught and shown that by reason alone you can come to the recognition for the need of a first mover, of a God, of a creator. Okay? Plato and Aristotle did so, and it wasn't with faith. So the Church doesn't say it's easy to come to the recognition of the existence of God by reason alone, okay? But that it is very doable. Okay, now, but is that why you believe in the Catholic Church? By reason alone? Faith, okay? Now, faith remains faith. I remember I used to work in Germany, and I wanted to prove my faith. I wanted to logically show that it was okay, Jesus Christ was true God, the whole Catholic Church, the whole faith. I wanted to prove it. After a couple of years of very frustrating efforts, I realized you can't ultimately prove faith. Okay? But as soon as we recognize that it is logical to see that there's a God, then it is no longer illogical to say that God that exists, okay, has the possibility to communicate with us. Okay? They're what the church calls signs or helps for our reason to see that faith is not irrational. Okay? Now, another very important point. When we say we believe, okay, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream, Tim? Licorice. Ugh. Frightening thought. Rowan, favorite flavor of ice cream?
Chocolate.
Okay. Who else? Favorite flavor of ice cream? Jaffa. See, a lot of people will say belief is like your favorite flavor of ice cream. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Oh, I'm personally cookies and cream. I think that's objectively better than anyone mentioned so far. But, well, if you've got some ice cream. Okay, so a lot of times people equate faith with preference, with like. What's your religion? Well, I'm Buddhist. Oh, that's nice. I'm Catholic. I prefer Catholicism to Buddhism. It has a nicer flavor to it. I like the incense, personally. That's what people think of when they think of faith. Preference, choice, like. Okay. Now, obviously, choice is being made. But when you say, I believe, what you are not saying is, I prefer, I like. You're saying, it is true. Even if you're wrong. The claim for faith is saying, it is that way. Has anybody here been in Iraq? Raise your hand. Okay. Is there a war going on in Iraq? Yes or no? Yes. How do you know? You believe everything you see on TV? Okay. We believe that there's a war because someone has communicated that to us. Now, that doesn't mean, okay, that's how we access that reality of the war, unless, of course, you're going to go there. Okay? So, but it's no less true just because that's how you access it. Okay? That's how you got to know it, because someone said it was so, and you trusted them. Okay? Religious faith is similar, okay? But when we are claiming to believe, we are saying it is that way, it is true. That's a very important distinction, okay? So the catch is, can you confirm that faith? Can you confirm that there's a war in Iraq? Yes or no?
Yes.
I mean, it'd be expensive, it'd be dangerous, but you can go to Iraq and confirm it. Okay, yes, there's a war. Can you confirm that Jesus Christ is God? In the same way, let's put it that way. No. Now, you can have a personal experience, and you can try to communicate that, and that personal experience can be very real, but it's going to be very hard to get beyond the subjective, right? We just need to pray. Okay? So faith remains ultimately trust. Okay? Okay? It's no less real, but to access that reality is by faith. Okay. Now, the difficult point, what a lot of people bring up, well, okay, if this is true, why can't everyone else agree on this point? Why doesn't everyone else agree on the religious theme? Why do you have so many Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, Taoists, etc., if it's so obvious? Okay? Now, John Paul II actually answered that by saying that actually all the multiple religions and their approaches at understanding reality Actually, the fact that there's so much in common between them shows that humanity is on the right track. It means man's conscience, because we all have that conscience, man's spirit is seeking that truth, intuits that truth, and that's why a lot of the religions are very similar. Okay? So he's actually strengthened. There are real differences, but the fact that man is religious by nature shows that he's on the right track.